So, what exactly is going on in your life? I realize, well, things in my life happen for a reason, and I'm trying to always grow myself in some kind of way. But how does that even work? It works in a nice way when you talk about things, when you are growing yourself, when you're helping yourself grow. But you talk a lot about growth. I realize I do. I do talk about growth a lot. But why do you talk about growth so much? Because I'm just so into growth. I'm so into growth and growing myself. And I stuff up in my communication as well. Why do you stuff up? Because of the things I say. I realize it's like I'm having a conversation with myself. But why would you have a conversation with yourself? Because of the things I learn. I learn about myself like this. I learn about things in my life. And what's so special about your life? But about my life, it's just about things that are going on in my life. I realize the things that I'm going places, I'm traveling, I'm living my life the best way I can. And how is that possible? I realize it's very possible because when you're growing yourself in a nice way, you can help to emulate things around your life. But how does that work? Because the things that happen in your life, in a sense. So when you're actually growing yourself, you have a conversation with yourself, and that's how you learn. But the thing is that you have to realize how is that possible that you're talking like this now? I realize because of the things that that approach because of the things that are happening in my life. So every single day I'm trying to grow myself in some kind of way. And how is that possible? Because of the things that are going on in my life. And what kind of things are going on in your life? I realize something special, and it's just that it's more how I'm doing things online. I'm helping people to grow. I'm helping people to live a great life and stuff. And I realize, are people watching this? I realize some people are watching. Not everyone. Not everyone's watching. So you're trying to give ideas to yourself? Is that what you're trying to do? I'm trying to grow myself with my ideas. I'm trying to grow myself from my own conversation with myself. And what's so special about that? I realize there's a special thing about life when you're trying to grow yourself with yourself. And what exactly is that kind of conversation with yourself that you're trying to recognize with yourself? I realize it's just that I want to grow myself in the best way. And how does that work? I realize it works in a nice way. So you're trying to be nice. I realize I try to be nice. I try to be a good person. I try to have a good conversation with people. I try to have a good conversation with myself. And you think that this is going to help people. I realize, but you're so into helping people these days. I realize it's just how I try to grow myself in the best way to help people in the best way. And you have to realize that you just are so much into helping people these days that it's like you're trying to figure it out, aren't you? I realize that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure it out even on my own. But then maybe you need some help. Maybe you need some help from people to get some information. I realize I think I do need help, of course. I realize I do need help from people. I need a lot of help. And how do you expect to help yourself? Well, I don't expect anything first of all. And I just want to help myself to get as much information as possible as I can so I can help myself to grow in the best way. And how do you expect to find this information? Well, I try to grow myself in the best way so that I can help myself to get that information that I can get so I can actually help myself. And how does that help you? It helps me in some kind of way. And you have to realize now that's the thing about you. You always speak in this way like you're offended. No, I'm not offended. I'm not offended. But it sounds like you just have this mindset about you where you're trying to speak about things in a nice way, but it comes off across as something that you didn't want to say. Somehow it does. Somehow it does come off across in a way that maybe I should not have said it or something like that. So maybe you have like a speech problem. No speech problem with me, but maybe I do have. Maybe I do stutter in my communication. But I realize I realize how it goes. But you have to realize you have to stop stuttering in your life so you can grow yourself. That's what I have to do. I have to grow in I have to grow in a nice way. Of course you have to grow in a nice way. Of course you have to do things in your life. You have to grow yourself. You have to do the best job you can. You have to live your life the best way. Of course you have to have a good conversation. And I have to have a good conversation with people, of course. And that's all you have to understand about this. And now, if you're growing yourself, what do? I realize, well, I try to think for myself. I try to give those ideas. I try to give a lot of ideas. And what exactly about those ideas can you give to people? I realize I can give a lot of ideas about life, about a lot of things. And what exactly are you trying to say? I'm trying to say things around life to help people. But that's how I grow. That's how it goes. I realize, but anyway, I realize that's how I have a conversation with myself. And what do you think? What do you think about this conversation with yourself? How do you expect to get anything in return for it? I don't expect anything in return. I just start to grow myself in some kind of way. Start to have a conversation. I see. So when you have a conversation, you say something. I say whatever is on my mind. I say whatever I think about life. I see. So when you are growing yourself, when you're growing yourself in some kind of way, what exactly do you do? I just talk. I just talk words. I see. So when you talk words, what do you say? I realize I say whatever's on my mind. I see. So anyway, that's why you're having a conversation with yourself, aren't you? I realize that's why I have a conversation with myself. I see. So when you are growing yourself every single day, what exactly do you expect to get in life? Where do you want to come to in life? I want to come to a good point in my life where I'm actually living my life the best way I can. And how do you expect to get there? I just want to grow myself the best way I can. And I want to get there in a way that I can help myself to do that, for example, where I can actually put my eye inside of myself and live my life. What do you mean by about your eye? I mean about the word I. I want to speak the word I to people. And what's the word I? I realize the words is just words. I realize, and what's so good about words? I realize words are good things in life. I realize everything about life is good. And anyway, I realize sometimes people won't understand exactly what you say. I realize, but they have to understand it's just words. Words are everything. You understand? And you have to realize that sometimes you have to understand to break down a conversation. Break down a conversation by asking questions. You understand? So when I ask questions, what do? I realize when you ask questions, you ask something for other people to talk. You know, I see. So when you're talking words, what do? I realize you do anything you want. Anything you want to do, you do. That's what you do around life. I realize, and how does that help people? I realize it helps people in the best way. I realize when you're helping yourself to grow, I realize you're doing something to help yourself to understand things around life, and you're growing yourself in some kind of way and having a conversation with people, and that's the best thing. I see. So when you're having a conversation with yourself, what do? I realize I speak in a way that I can help myself to grow. I realize I just understand that's how it goes. I realize that's how I do life. I realize, but the thing is, you have to understand when you're talking to yourself, what exactly do you say to yourself? I say whatever I want to myself. I can say whatever is on my mind. And that's how I do my life. I realize, so when you're growing yourself in some kind of way, you dig deep into your mind, don't you? I realize that's what I do. I realize that's how I live my life. And when you're living your life, what exactly do you do? I realize I just help myself to grow. I realize I start doing things around my life to help elaborate things about whatever it is that I'm talking about. And I start to do something around helping myself to understand more about life. I start reading, I start growing myself, I start posting on social media. I start helping myself in some kind of way. And how do you suppose this is going to be your life? I realize, well, it's my life for now, but the thing is I have to start growing myself. And you have to understand, when I start growing myself, of course I'm going to live my life the best way I can and do things for people as much as I can. And you have to realize that every single day I'm always helping myself like this. by talking to myself. And I see when you're talking to yourself, what exactly are you trying to say? I realize I'm trying to say whatever's on my mind. I try to grow myself in this kind of way.